Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please like and subscribe, or like at least, because it boosts it up, on the YouTube channel. They take notice of this. If it gets liked, good. Anyway, forget about that now. I'm going to talk about the problem that we've got in society and using prisons basically for sex offenders and drug dealers. That's what it's turning into, isn't it? Drug dealers and drugs seem to be a big problem in society today, but also there is a great lack of morality, certainly in the police and the prison system, I believe. I mean, have you seen how many policemen are being arrested lately? The ex-chief constable who was pretending to be a Falklands Islands vet, who said he had been involved in the Falkland Islands conflict, and he started wearing a medal and he was about 9 or 10 years old when it kicked off. Also told everybody he'd been a lieutenant commander in the Royal Navy when he'd been an able seaman for 2 years. I mean, come on, don't they do any due diligence on these people? I mean, this was a chief constable, yeah. Police officers just been done for I think it was in Northern Ireland, yeah, not paying his bus fare, getting into some kind of altercation. It's beggars belief what's going on, and you've only got to read the press. Every other week there's a prison officer being charged and imprisoned for, it used to be known as trafficking. I'm not sure if it still is, but that's when you're smuggling goods into prison that you certainly shouldn't be. I previously said the other day that I'd discovered a governor doing exactly that, and what happened was the system turned on me for reporting him when that was my actual duty. You see, you don't do your duty in the prisons, you're subservient to the system. That's what you're serving in the prisons, the system, not so much what it says on your warrant card, Oh, that's what they thought when they issued it to me, except I took it quite seriously. But we've found that there's a disintegration. You can see this, a clear disintegration in society that is being reflected in our prisons. You can't have prisons operating in isolation from society. The prisons will always reflect society. So if we go back to the 1950s, 60s, 70s, when prisons were prisons, yeah, and inmates did exactly what the staff said, or else, yeah, we had a different society. We had a society that had, in general, been accustomed to military service through the national service, where you get called up and you go to either the army, the army, or air force, or the navy. And the majority of adult males were sent to the army. Now, in those days, the army was something different than it is today. I mean, today, like the prisons, we've got females integrated into the actual fighting corps. How is that going to really work? I mean, it works in Israel. I mean, you have a look at the Israeli army. It's got, 30% females in there carrying guns, shooting people. I mean, this goes against nature to me. I mean, a lady, in my opinion, perhaps I'm sexist, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just old-fashioned. But it doesn't seem to me to be the correct way to behave for a young lady, going around toting a bloody Kalashnikov and blowing the brains out of people. But that's what they've got them doing today, and they've got them in the British military. In fact, that there are females who want to join the parachute regiment. Well, I tell you, if they can get through P Company, then they're doing really, really well. That's an absolute torture, that. I just don't believe they can. I mean, there may be one or two that could, but the vast majority, like 99%, just couldn't, because it just involves such heavy lifting and such dangerous kind of... And how they go on with the milling. You know, the milling in the military, where you get gloves, 16-ounce gloves, I think they were, and you just get patched up, you know, and you get in there, and there's no Queensberry rules in there. You just get in, and you've got like 2 or 3 minutes of milling. And milling, it means beating the holy bejesus out of whoever it is. The way they did it when I was in the P Regiment, P Company, they lined you up and you got matched with somebody of your same height. Well, the thing was, I'm not particularly tall, about 5'8", but I was about 11 stone. So the person I was facing was about 9.5, something like that. Wasn't very heavy. So they said, "Oh, you can't do that. It's too much of a big weight disparity here." So I had to wait till the end, and they said, "Oh, we'll get you somebody at the end." So I said, "I don't want just anybody. I like that." There was a guy from the Royal Military Police in there, and he and I, all the way through the course, had been at loggerheads, you know, who was going to actually do the what was it? The obstacle course, you know, all that, yeah. So I was up against him. So I said, "Well, I'm the big guy. He was about 6'4", you know. I mean, I could fight, you know, so it didn't bother me. And I always found the big guys easier than the little guys, you know, because I could hit them and they were a lot slower, you see, and I was pretty fast. So I beat the bejesus out of that bastard. It lasted about 15 seconds, something like that. I bashed him so hard he fell down with his nose smashed, and he hit the side of the, because he had like the gym benches, you know, he hit one of the side of the gym benches. I hit him that hard. And I said to the physical training instructors, because they were marking you, you know, I said, "I reckon that's 10 out of 10, don't you?" They didn't look very amused, you know, as if to say, you know, you're cheating, you're experienced at this. Well, I was just knew what I was doing, you know. Anyway, the way things are going in society, it's just going to get worse. I mean, HMP Park, they reckon it's flooded with spice, and that drives them out the mind. Of course, the spice is coming in letters. It's being impregnated into the paper. People are getting books. You know, every other page will be soaked in spice. Where do we go from there? And people are saying, well, how do all these drugs get into prison? Well, the staff are bringing them in. If you can get £500 for bringing in a matchbox full of spice, you know, then and you're getting £350 a week wages, people are going to do it. I mean, I personally wouldn't do it because I always tried to play it dead straight. But you get people who are struggling in society today, can't even afford to pay the rent. You've got police officers living in virtual squats in London. If you try renting a place in London on the basic wage that you're going to get in the prison service, you're going to be doing it. But if you're an 18-year-old girl and you're in a shared house, you know, it's just like you're getting, $30,000 a year in London. Oh, they'll have a go at that. Couldn't rent a flat for it, though, could you? So society is reflected in the prisons. And the prisons are made up of people who have come through this society, offended against it, usually drug offences, a lot of sex offenders nowadays. And I previously talked about people in positions of authority who are committing sexual offences, people like Lord Louis Mountbatten, people like Edward Heath. I mean, it was never actually proved, was it? But then again, it wouldn't be proved, because if they actually had the proof, then they get rid of it. And whoever exposed the truth, they're going to get it. They're going to get something truly special. Anyway, it's that time of day, folks. That's the song dinger. So I will sing you a song. I'm going to sing you an Elvis song now. I think we'll sing Are You Lonesome Tonight? Are you all sitting comfortably? Good. Larry's grabbed his goat now, he's buggered off. See you, Larry. give the goat a big kiss from me. There we are. Paula, you all right, Paula? I've not heard from you for a bit. And Catherine in the middle of nowhere. Hello. Yeah, those are the people who help me with my books, you see. Oh, by the way, all those who are interested, my publisher says that he's been listening to the first drafts of the audio book of part 3, and he says it's the funniest thing he's heard in a long time. So stand by for that. It'll be out in the next 10 days, I believe. Ready? Are you ready now? This is John G. Sutton murdering Are You Lonesome Tonight? I once sang this on television, by the way. It didn't go down very well. And it won't go down very well now, no doubt. But I'll give it a go. Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? Does your memory stray to a bright summer day when I kissed you and called you sweetheart? Do the chairs in your parlor look empty and bare? Do you stare at your doorstep and picture me there? Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? You know, someone once said, all the world's a stage, and all the men and all the women, well, they're just players. We have our exits and we have our entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. Anyway, that's enough of that. If you enjoyed it, I'll see you on the sick parade Monday morning. I'll have my syringe and we'll put an end to that. We'll get you an arse full of Largactyl. See you now. Tales from the Jails, John G. Sutton.